There's a certain weirdness that comes with recording yourself and talking to the camera. I have a ritual that I do most mornings when we're working. James has his, which I've just done a small short clip where he makes bread. I come to the veg section. I do the veg in the morning so that when people come and have their lunch, they have veg on their dishes, not just meat or fish. There is veg on the dish. It's not a side order, but it's part of your meal. So this morning I'm doing broad beans, which are called, oh my God, I've forgotten the word now in Spanish. That is disgusting. Habas. Oh, thank you, darling. You were listening. Habas. These are normally eaten raw. If you go into bars, people are sitting there having a beer, some jamon and bread, and then they eat this raw. They're quite tasty. Almost like peas, but not as sweet as peas. But we're using them for our vegetarian menu. They're going to be slightly parboiled because serving them raw, sometimes the skin can be a bit toughish, but still it's good fiber. But we sort of, I parboil them and then I remove the outer skin, which is a shame. And then they are left to cool down a little bit, and then they are served warm with quinoa and beetroot. So that's a creation of mine. Since I'm eating more vegetables, less carbohydrates, and lots of protein. So the beans are ready because they've been ordered. Someone has ordered a starter of these beans today, so they're being done and fresh on the day. And then the next thing that I do is, I shouldn't disappear from the camera. Oh God, I'm killing James here. I do the cauliflower. Not so long ago, we were doing kegery. Instead of using rice, we were using cauliflower rice, but we've just taken it off the menu, and I think it's going to come back, but as a vegan dish, cauliflower rice. And then we are, at the moment that we are still debating on what to use instead of using fish, what to use. But there's plenty to use. There's so much choices that you can use with vegetables. The secret is getting the flavors right, the spices, the herbs that makes vegetarian dishes or vegan dishes more interesting. How do I know this? I've got a daughter who is a vegan, and she's done a book on vegan dishes, and I'm quite amazed by how tasty the food is and how Shingi has managed to convince me that you can have a meal without meat. Because me being from my village, meat was what we were brought up on. It was short, but when it was there, it was like, oh my God, we have to eat meat every day. And I remember thinking that one day when I finish school, I get a job, I'm going to buy as much meat as I can and eat as much meat and sugar as I can, because those are the things that I grew up having quite a lot of sugar, sweets. My dad loved sweets, so I had a phase in my life where sweets played an important role. Now I'm sort of slightly paying for it, but I'm working on it. I'm getting there. So yeah, so I'm doing my cauliflower here. I don't know whether I can see that. I can tilt this little beauty. There we are on my board. I'm doing the cauliflower. So that will go in a tray. Darling, do I have a tray for cauliflower? I can't move from my section because I'm speaking to some very nice people. Okay, so the cauliflower will go in a roasting tray. These bits here, you don't throw them away. No, you cut them thinly. Like so. because cauliflower is one of those things that many people find really hard to eat. I was one of those people, because my experience of cauliflower when I arrived in the UK was it was very cooked and it was mushy. When I was back home, I don't remember ever eating cauliflower. It was not something that I knew of, but my introduction to it was not a nice one. But since I met this amazing guy over there, he's taught me that food can be cooked properly and it can be enjoyed. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's cooked, hand-rolled, and cooked with love, you will love it. So cauliflower is done there, and then I'll season it with a bit of sea salt, give it a bit of color with a bit of paprika, just sprinkle a bit of paprika and drizzle with olive oil, and then put it in the oven. How long for, darling?
Around 10 minutes.
Yeah.
More or less.
So in an oven,
10 minutes.
8 to 10 minutes, so that it's not mushy, it's nice and soft, so that you have a bite.
200
Not
centigrade.
200 centigrade, whatever that means. For me, I always sort of open the oven and then taste, and please don't dispute that, because that's what my mother used to do. Okay, so right, so here's my cauliflower. The cauliflower is going to have a bit of a drizzle with olive oil, sea salt, a bit of paprika to give it a bit of color, and then it will be ready to go. Now, sometimes when I'm doing this, I find I've got these stalks. I eat them. They fill me up. I don't start picking. Okay? Right. I do beg your pardon. Next phase is carrots. Gently give them a peel. Cut them thinly, and then they are not boiled. They're just sauteed in a pan, because you've cut them small and they don't need to be mushy. There we are. So I've got a very sharp knife. It's an Arcos from Arcos from Spain. So very sharp. Need to be very careful, because I've had a few accidents. I've lost count, and I'm surprised I still have got fingers. But now I can't use my fingerprints because of the scarring. Or something like that. Okay, so carrot is cut like that. It's not too thick, so I won't do all the carrots. I'm just showing you what I do with the carrots. So I've done them thinly, so all this lot has to be done today. And then I also have beans. So the beans go the same way. Sometimes when I'm feeling crazy, I've got this little gizmo here that remove the tops and the bottoms, because it's not, I'm sure it won't kill you to eat this little bit. You can eat it, but you won't die. But it's not pleasant, is it? So sometimes I just use the knife. So with the beans, it's the same thing. I cut them. Can you believe this? Look at that. I'm good with the knife. So here we are. The beans are almost the same size as the carrots. So in a wok, just before you serve your main course, before we serve our main course, I don't know what you do in your house, we put the carrots in first, because they are more tougher, more harder than the beans. Give them a 2-minute head start. Olive oil, put them in there, just a drop of water to give it a bit of a steaming, and then add the beans, and then sometimes add some carrots towards the end, some peas, and then you've got your mixed veg ready to go on the plate. They need to be green when they are being served, not brown, not mushy. They need to be chewed. So on that note, I shall bid you farewell because I'm now going to be a serious veg woman. I hope you have a lovely Sunday. Now I'm looking for the remote control for this thing. Ooh, it's gone. Anyway, adios. Happy food eating and loving.